Okay, we are live. So good morning, everyone. Today, Friday, the 15th of August, what we call Ferragosto in Italy, or also, Midsummer Day, what is also known as. In Italy, is like a celebration. It's a celebration day, normally that you spend with your friends and family, on the beach, generally doing funny things on the beach, eating a lot, drinking a lot, doing everything else. Everything else you can come up with, we're not mentioning other substances. Anything else, you spend sometimes when you're young, you spend the night on the beach, you sleep on the beach and whatever. But it's good fun. Anyway, so today we
What are
are,
you doing here with us, Luca?
I know, I am between friends, am I? Aren't I? So that's the thing. I can't quite, I'm a bit like past those days, you know, where I'm doing those things. But it's still fun. It's still fun. So today, in particular, we, as I said, as was announced last week, we have Jonathan Jay, which I remember, you should all know him very well. Jonathan is the Cardano stake pool operator, between other things, within other talents. Let's say apart from running his own business, but it's been a Cardano stake pool operator now for how long? What, 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah, approaching 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Wow.
Mm.
So it's one of the people that puts his computer at work to sustain the Cardano network. And today Jonathan is going to give us a demonstration on how to claim what is called the Glacier drop, which is how to claim your Midnight tokens. And I remind you that people that have got an entitlement to these tokens, as long as you add on the 11th of June of this year, you add tokens in your own wallet, not on an exchange, but in your own wallet majority is Cardano. The majority of this will go to Cardano and then to Bitcoin holders. So 50% of the Midnight token will go to Cardano holders, 20% to Bitcoin holders. The other 30% is going to be between BNB, XRP, Ethereum, Avalanche, Brave attention token, and I don't know, I'm missing one. But so there's in total there's 8 different tokens they have got this entitlement. So we're going to go through this, and obviously, the midnight token is something that it's in the Cardano sphere, but it can also be used from all of these other tokens, and it will make the transaction easier to people to interact with projects on other chains going through the Midnight token, and has other functionality as well, like selective disclosure, and so like security, and as you know, the Cardano network, and especially what's it called? Well, sorry, Jonathan, I got the words fail me. But it's the main feature is like the not security.
Cardano.
No, the Midnight.
Oh, midnight privacy of
Privacy. That's it. I couldn't think of the word. The privacy. So without me jabbering anymore, Jonathan, I'll leave you the mic and take it away.
Okay, let me get screen share going, because it's not much point. You can't see the demo. So yeah, Midnight has a lot of potential. We don't know what these tokens are going to be worth, but we do know that the whole application of the tokens is being distributed to multiple chains to really get the token out there as wide and fast as possible, into as many holders as possible, so that you're incentivized to use the token, use a new chain as it comes to life. So it's like a rapid bootstrapping for the blockchain. And as Luca was saying, there are several chains eligible for this. So we've got, if you're a holder of ADA, Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, BNB, Binance's token, AVAX, Avalanche, or BAT from the Brave wallet, then you're eligible for receiving some Night tokens. And the place to do that is at midnight.gd. GD stands for Glacier Drop. And this is the first time that Glacier Drop's been used. It's a new technology that's leveraging a Cardano technology called Hydra, which is a scaling solution for Cardano, and it's letting us distribute to all these 37 million different addresses across multiple chains, letting all those wallets connect and then receive an allocation. So you'll visit midnight.gd with the browser of your choice. And, you know, as always, I talk about digital cleanliness, keeping one browser separate from your others that you do your crypto transactions on is a good way to do it, and install as few extensions on that browser as possible. And that way you're reducing your exposure to rogue scripts, rogue programs get onto your computer. There likely will be some fiddling you'll have to do when you're doing the midnight Glacier Drop, depending on whether you are pure hot wallet, something like Exodus or Eternal on Cardano, whether you're a hardware wallet user like Ledger or Trezor. There's a various means into this drop that you'll need to adopt. And there, you know, it launched 2 weeks ago now, and there's been a few deficiencies found, particularly in the Ledger implementation. This wasn't on the fault of the Glacier Drop team. It was actually Ledger being slow to implement some of the security measures in Cardano. Those have all been resolved now. We've found ways around it. And so the Glacier Drop is eligible to anybody who's got hardware wallets as well as software wallets. But there are still some preferred methods of doing it with those wallets. So if you're an ADA holder, which will probably be the bulk of you, and ADA holders are eligible for 50% of the full supply of Midnight tokens that are being distributed, then you probably want to be using either the Eternal wallet, which is the one that I prefer out of all the wallets available, or the new wallets from Input Output themselves, who developed Cardano in the first place and developed the Midnight network. Their wallet is called the Lace wallet, and that's arrived on the market in the last couple of years. So it's a bit newer if you haven't been into crypto during the bear market. Lace wallet is a very good wallet, nice clean interface, and that's got the sort of the rubber stamp from Midnight because it's their own wallet effectively for doing your claims. The Yoroi wallet as well, which many of you will be familiar with, is one of the first light wallets on Cardano. That's a good one to use as well. And in particular, if you're a Ledger user, then the Yoroi wallet is a good one to combine that with. They haven't had any issues right from launch. So let's get into it. You can come to midnight.gd, click on the big Claim Now button, and you'll be into this page. So there's a little video you can watch that does an introduction onto the token itself, why you would want to bother making this claim, and what utility you like to get from it in the future. But yeah, you can pretty much take mine and Luca's word. It's worth getting your hands on. There is 50 days left to claim in this phase. There are 3 phases of the claim altogether. First phase is 60 days long. So we've had 10 days already. And anybody who has held those chains, the coins from those chains in their wallets on the 11th of June will be able to come in and claim it now. And so this first phase ends in 50 days from now. So you've got time. You don't have to rush this. You can get your crypto portfolios all back up and running again, dust them off, and get your head around it. You've got 50 days to do it. So don't rush. And once you're sorted, you've got your wallet set up again. You can then come to the claim page, start a new claim. At the end of the 50-day period, it'll enter a new phase called the scavenger period. So if you're not eligible to claim in this first 60 days, because you haven't held those tokens in those wallets to a sufficient amount on that date, then you can actually take part in the scavenger claim as well, which will come afterwards. And that's going to be a 30-day period where you can mine for midnight tokens. And that'll be me running a little bit of software on your computer that will perform some mathematical calculations to help you mine and get an allocation of the tokens as a separate endeavor. You can do that whether you're part of the first claim or not. So there will be a bit of competition in that second portion of the claim. And there won't be so much tokens being distributed then, but it's really to try and get as many tokens out there as possible. The third and final phase after that scavenger hunt's finished, scavenger mine is finished. There's another then almost indefinite period, several years, I think, of being eligible to claim still. And people in that final part are ones who were eligible in the first claim, didn't get their stuff sorted on time, come back later, find out about the Glacier Drop. Then they'll have a portion of their original claim available to collect in that final part. So even if you miss all this, chances are you'll be able to get hold of a few tokens if you're a crypto holder. Anyway, so there are two really important bits of information that the claim process is looking for: an origin wallet, an origin address, and that is the address on the blockchain that you're wanting to check. Whether that is a Bitcoin address or a Cardano address or a Brave token address, you need to get that origin address available. And that, most wallets, is the receive address. So you want to find the receive address on those wallets that has your balance in, bring it to this portal, and you can paste it in. See, mine's already been grabbed from, it looks like an Ethereum address. So it's checking my eligibility against wallets that I've got connected. And I don't recall having an Ethereum address on here, so I'm not quite sure why it's showing that, because I've just got a Cardano one. So let's start a fresh claim. No, it's going to find it anyway. Okay, let's see what it does. You can just check the eligibility. It's picked up on something. Let's find out what it is. Oh, no eligible found. And so, yes, I realize now it's because I'm in the Brave browser, which has the wallet installed in it automatically. The Brave wallet is being checked first because that's active. And I do have a Brave wallet that's holding some Ethereum. It's also got some Binance token in. So BNB has been the network that it's checked on. So that's my current network in my Brave wallet. And that's being checked to see if I'm eligible to any tokens. I'm not eligible because I wasn't holding enough of those BNB tokens in this wallet to be eligible. So that's a message we get if your claim is not going to be eligible. So you can then come back and choose a different address. So it's going to let me continue, and then I can choose my own blockchain. So instead of doing my Brave wallet, I want to check my Cardano wallet, which I've also got installed in this browser. So I've got Eternal installed. So I'm going to choose Cardano as the network I want to check. Confirm it. It's asking me whether I want to check a browser wallet. So see which browser wallet I've got connected at the moment. Whether I've got Eternal switched on with a DApp connector. If you're familiar with Eternal, then it will check that. But if you want to do it manually, you could also just click, I want to enter an address manually, in which case you can then be pasting in addresses from a Bitcoin wallet, which isn't a browser wallet, or Exodus or something like that. So you can go and check all the addresses from Exodus just by dropping them in manually. But for now, let's try it with a browser wallet to start with. So continue. It's asking me which wallet it wants me to connect to. So I'm going to say Eternal. And it's popped up a little window. Can you see that? Yeah. So this is a DApp connector pop-up, which means it's checking the wallet that I've got installed on this browser to see whether I can claim or not. It's asking, so the Midnight process is asking if I'm going to allow my wallet to be talked to. So if the Midnight portal can actually talk to my Eternal wallet, and I'm going to say from the Eternals pop-up, I'm going to say yes, grant access to the Midnight application or DApp. Now this is the next part, which is confusing multiple people, including myself being with. It's looking for an unused address in that wallet because it's going to try and send tokens in the claim to an unused Bitcoin Cardano Brave address, because it wants that address to be empty so that it has a clear track of assets going into it, and it's unused, not going to be confused with anything else. And I don't know the exact reasons for them having to use an unused address. Probably something to do with liability in some jurisdiction somewhere. It might be US or something like that. But they're forcing everyone to choose an unused address to send this Midnight claim into. So it's not found one in my browser wallet. So I'm going to try again. Eternal, and it's checked, found my origin address as eligible for this Midnight claim. So in this wallet that I've got connected, it's going to be able to give me 1,000 Night tokens. It's very exciting. And it's also now needs me to pick a destination address. So when I click Nest, okay. So last time I tested this, it couldn't find my destination address as an unused address. But since then, my Eternal wallet has had an upgrade. And so it's now telling Midnight, because it understands about Midnight, what an unused address is for that wallet. But let's go through that process manually, because it might not be the same for you, and certainly won't be if you're doing an exits claim or something.
Maybe Jonathan, maybe if you can show them before you move on to the next step, if the toggle in Eternal go from unique address to multiple addresses.
Yeah, so even that's changed since we last spoke, Luca.
Oh wow.
So this is my Eternal wallet. So in it, I've got 2,242 ADA. I want to configure this wallet so that it's operating in multi-address mode, and that's the Cardano network has the ability to have multiple addresses tied to a single wallet. So we've got here single address mode, which is toggled on at the moment, and multiple address mode. So before, when Luke and I had the conversation, you had to switch it to switch single address mode off for then it to find multiple addresses in your Eternal wallet. But they've since updated, and you can now find your unused addresses, or it's presenting its unused addresses to the Midnight claim automatically. If you want to see proof of that in the user interface, you can come to the browser select tab, and under here on this 3-button click, this Hazelnet wallet will show me a receive address, which I'm going to ask for, and that's my default in single address mode. That's a default address for this wallet, but it's also can show me unused wallet addresses. So this is the first unused address that that Eternal is presenting. So if I look on the claim again, we can see my destination address. It's 8EY. Is that right? Is that the same one? 8EY? Yeah, it is. So there's ending 8EY on this address that's presented is the same as the address that's been found in the Midnight claim. So you can see that it's now doing a bit more work for you than it did even last week. But this is the bit that you'll probably hiccup on most. It needs to find a clear origin address from the network of choice you're testing your claim for, and then have an empty destination address, an unused address on the blockchain, on the Cardano blockchain that you're sending the Midnight claim to. So Eternal, you can either go through this method to find your address and type it in manually if you prefer it that way. You can even switch up your user interface in the wallet to make it multiple address mode. Once you've done that, you can come to the receive address tab. This is eternal. I'm jumping around a lot. In the receive address tab, you can see now all these additional addresses. You can filter them for unused addresses. And so all of these addresses are eligible to use in the Midnight claim. You can just grab one of those. It's taken the first one. But yeah, that's where we go. So back to the claim. Let me close this one. I keep clicking on the wrong tab. So it's found my origin address. It's found my destination address. Let's say next. And then you've got some terms to agree to. And this is describing utility of the network, what power you'll have over the tokens that are being sent to you. It'll cover things like tax claims and all that sort of stuff. I always read small print. I'm sure everyone here does as well. So I'm going to check this box and say next for my claim. So it's going to do a little preview of the claim, which is hidden. 1,000 tokens. Details are this origin address and this destination address. You can confirm those. And then it's created a blockchain message that will go into the metadata of the transaction, go on chain, and that will be proof of your claim for those night tokens once the actual distribution of those tokens happens. So you can sign this claim. Again, I've got this pop-up window from my Eternal wallet that's saying, give me your spending password. You can check that it's got the correct wallet attached. This is the message, the unencrypted message that's going on chain. In Cardano, everything goes on in a compressed format. So that's the Blake B2B hash of the transaction. And this is the raw data that's forming the contents of that. And then it's asking me to sign. So I'm going to grab my spending passphrase that I set up when I created my Eternal wallet, drop that into here, sign. And you can see now that my claim has been successfully signed. You can go through to complete your claim. Now, what I did at this stage is I actually took a copy of my source address and my origin address and my destination address, and I put those in a spreadsheet because I've actually got some like 10 wallets that I have to spin through and check for this claim process worked. On the Cardano blockchain, I've got ones in Exodus, things like that. And so I kept a spreadsheet. I've got a record of the origin and the destination addresses, and that might be unnecessary, but down the road you never know where you're going to go. And tracking back to find out which your destination address was, going to find your night tokens in 90 days time. They could be here, there, and everywhere. So this is probably worth doing. So drop in a spreadsheet, then you've got a record of it in a nice single place. If I complete my claim now, you can actually see that because I'd already made a claim with this wallet, it's giving me a message saying that you've already claimed, dude. You're trying to claim twice. So it does know about multiple claims. It did let me put that transaction on chain. So there are now two messages on chain boasting about my eligibility for my 1,000 night token claim against that wallet. But it should tell me that fact. Once you've made a claim, you're fine. You can just do it once. But if you do multiple claims, it doesn't matter. Only one of them will be eligible. So I could try again, but it's not going to be worth it. So there we go. That's completed my claim. If I had got through to that final page, then there is actually a link to download a PDF that contains that same information about your origin address and your destination address. I found in my Firefox clone browser that the link to claim the PDF wasn't working. Again, which is a little user interface bug. It seemed to work in Chrome and Brave and so on and so forth. So you might find an issue like that here and there again. Also, it's 10 days since the claim was started. It's probably been fixed. But yeah, you can download a PDF which does the same sort of job as the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is one source, contains all your wallets. The PDFs will be individual PDFs. Cool. So that's the process for an Eternal user. on the Cardano blockchain. If we start over, we can then go through and choose a different blockchain. So say I wanted to check a Bitcoin wallet. Let's see what that process is. Confirm my network as Bitcoin. It's asking me to find a wallet. So I don't have a Bitcoin wallet that can attach to my browser. So it's not going to be a browser wallet. I don't actually have a Ledger or a Trezor. I have a Keystone wallet, which is another version, another hardware wallet out there. I don't have my Bitcoin on a Keystone wallet. Now I'm going to enter my address manually. So then I would click continue. I need to find my origin address. If you bear with me, I'll get my Exodus open. And I'm going to grab the Bitcoin address on my Exodus wallet. And Bitcoin addresses look like this. So I'm starting to recognize blockchain addresses. Does that make me, too much of a nerd? So you can see these characters and start to decipher.
Absolutely not. It's just a little bit paranoid, maybe, like I am. Just want to make sure that you don't send stuff in using the wrong blockchain.
Yeah. This is a skill you probably should be growing. Hopefully, this will go away as an issue in the future with interoperability is fully at hand. But in the meantime, recognizing what address is from what blockchain is quite useful. So 0x is a start of an Ethereum address or a EVM blockchain. So that's Binance and Polygon, all these clones of Ethereum's blockchain. Bitcoin doesn't have any prefix, so it's well, the BC one actually might be the prefix. And then Cardano, the address, it's got an ADDR one as a prefix. Anyway, I digress. So that's my Bitcoin address. I'm going to check eligibility, and I do have a legitimate address. I was holding Bitcoin at the time, but turns out it wasn't $100 worth. So it said I don't have an eligible claim here, and that's disappointing. But also a quick way of just checking through all your addresses. Every last one of them, see if it's eligible. It'll be a nice long job for some of you as you pulled up a myriad of addresses. But that I've been through most of my wallets now and checked them all and claimed all the ones I can claim on. So there's one other tool that I think is worth showing you. Now I've been swearing for months that nobody is to use anything, if you see any link to any Midnight network about claiming, don't use it because there's no portal yet. Well, 10 days ago there was a portal now, which is great. And on the arrival of that portal, then several other community projects built up portals in the same time because this is a blockchain. And the magic of the blockchain is that it is a public database that anybody can read and write to, but can't edit. And that means that anybody can build tools to read and write to those same addresses on those blockchains as anybody else who's building applications. So actually, there is a very useful tool. Now, the Glacier Drop website is great. Commendable bit of work for the largest airdrop ever. However, there are community builders who just build things small and simple. So this has got several steps in it. It's a little bit complicated. If you are doing your actual claims, then I would say use this midnight.gd as a place to do your claims on. If, however, you are looking for a rapid way to browse through all your wallets, there are other tools coming along now, which is quite good. So the one that I do rate is, let me just get the link up, is this one from the Fluid Tokens team. So no correlation with me and Fluid Pool. I think they're an excellent team of developers. They've been around in the ecosystem for almost as long as me. They just happen to choose the same Fluid name for their token and their business as I had already chosen 10 years before them, but I won't hold it against them. So Fluid Tokens have an app, And so if you're browsing through, now actually they are Bitcoin compatible and also Cardano compatible. Whether the claim portal works on their Bitcoin side of things, I'm not sure. But I do know that it does work for the Cardano side. So if you go to app.fluidtokens.com/midnight and you've got an internal wallet that might have, I don't know, 5 different wallets in there, then this is a really good platform for just checking your eligibility in all these wallets. So I'm going to connect my wallet to Fluid Tokens. Again, don't do this if you've got any questions at all. I know the team. I've been following them for 4 years. I've seen their work. They do really good work. I've seen them at conferences and things like that. So I know them well. I'm going to grant access for my wallet to talk to this web app. And I'm going to tell them it's an internal wallet I want them to talk to. And it's picked up my my Cardano address straight away. And I can put in my token claim address manually. And I can click claim and it'll tell me if I'm eligible or not. So it's really a rapid way of scanning through those internal wallets in a less circuitous route than it is on the claim, on the Glacier Drop claim. Here you have to start over, go back to the origin, find it, paste it in, go to destination, find it, paste it in, and go through it. With the Fluid Tokens app, it's all on the one page. I can jump to and from my Cardano, my Eternal wallet rapidly, drop them in here, and check. And yeah, this one's let me claim, so I know that I could go through, and I don't have to sign this. So I'm not going to now, and I don't have to use this portal to sign, but I can use it to check. And particularly on Cardano, unless you are signing a transaction window, then your funds are safe. So the only time you're at risk on Cardano is if you are signing something that you're not reading and understanding fully. So that's not necessarily the same on an Ethereum blockchain. When you connect your wallet to some websites and you approve the level of permissions it has, suddenly they can actually drain your wallet if you've got a bit of rogue software installed that's got eligibility to sign transactions on your behalf. So Cardano is not like that. It doesn't let anybody other than you manually sign, unless you actually signed something to send it into a smart contract, and then it can sign your behalf. So Cardano is very safe for that. But if you're doing this claim with multiple wallets, multiple blockchains, then I would stick to the Midnight Claim platform. Just go through that circuitous route, doing it each and every time. That's a good way to do it. But on Cardano, I trust the technology enough. I can happily use a third-party claim platform just to test my eligibility. And in fact, I did some of the testing here, but I did actually go back and do all my final claiming on the Midnight portal itself. So there, any questions amongst all that? It is a thorough process with lots of gotchas, but yeah, jump in.
Yeah, John.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, carry on.
Hey, Luca. Good day, mate. Did I see that you could actually claim from a MetaMask wallet as well?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So you saw when I first started up, it had picked up on my Brave wallet and it had that Ethereum address in there. And that would be the same if I was in a browser with MetaMask installed. It would probably have found my MetaMask wallet, put that address in there for me. So in fact, let's start over. If I switch this back to let's try Ethereum, because I think I might have the Brave wallet Ethereum network set up as well. I'm gonna let it choose browser wallet. Let's see, continue, and then it's popped up. Yeah, these are the Ethereum based wallets that it's looking to talk to. So I've got Brave wallet installed. I saw it talk to Brave. It's going to ask for my Brave password, which would be effectively the same as MetaMask asking for your login. And Just going to drop that window off, isn't it? Let's drop that in again. Unlock my Brave wallet. And let's choose it to check against that Ethereum network. I've just effectively done the same as signing as granting access on Cardano. I've now granted access to Ethereum blockchains to talk to this midnight claim. Continue. Select Brave wallet again. And this was declined because I've already had a previous. No, it's declined. No, not sure why that was declined. I'm not as switched on at the switch networks. So there, that was the window that's popping up. So yeah, MetaMask might, supports multiple Ethereum EVM blockchains. So whether that's Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum, and once you've granted access, you need to say which network you want to do the talking for the current app. So I've now chosen Ethereum blockchain to talk through my Brave wallet. It's checked that origin address and says I had no eligible addresses in that wallet. So I wasn't holding more than $100 worth of Ethereum in that blockchain wallet on the 11th of June. So that I can't claim for that. But so then we go back and choose another origin address to check against. So again, I could do the same again. Let's now check on BNB, confirm network. Let's look at Brave. Again, it's asking me to switch networks from Ethereum to check against the Binance Smart Chain. Can switch networks, and it'll check that same Ethereum style address, but on the Binance Smart Chain network, rather than I get on the Ethereum raw native network. Does that make sense? Cool.
That's great. Thank you.
Magic. Any other questions?
Jonathan, I've got one actually. I haven't tried again this week, and I know there's some work has been done. But do you know if they resolved the problem with the connection with Ledger? Because last week I was able to go through all of this process, and I got to number 4, say sign and complete claim. I could sign it, I couldn't complete it because basically it couldn't send the message. I imagine so that I don't know if that's been resolved now.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe it's been resolved on Eternal Wallet, and it's worked all the time on the Euro wallet. And depending on the wallet that you're using to connect your ledger through.
Oh, using Eternal.
Eternal. So yeah, so I believe that should be sorted now. The issue is a complex one that I can't even get my head around. There's 2 OGs in the space who I follow and have watched in awe for 4 years because they're so smart. One's Martin from Atada Pool. He's a German guy, very switched on, stake pool operator. The other is Phil from can't remember the name of his company's gone out of my mind at the moment, but they're one of the premier development companies on Cardano who aren't IOG themselves. And those 2 individuals, both active on Twitter, both vocal, both disagreed on why this wasn't working Ledger to this Glacier Drop Claim platform. Martin was saying that it's perfectly to sign this particular message in this particular way. It was something to do with a hashed message of a SIP 125 message, and whether it obfuscated the source or origin address. And Martin was saying it does, and Phil was saying it doesn't. And so there was a bit of to and fro, but I didn't get to see the full conversation. They took it off chain, I think, offline. But crux of it is, if you can't get it to work in Eternal, then use Yoroi. If you can't get it to work in Yoroi, then use Lace, and you'll be fine. Eternal, I think, will be working fine for now, though.
That was for the Cardano network, but also kind of the same kind of had a even worse problem with the kind of Bitcoin claim. Still, I've got like Bitcoin, BNB, or eligible token on Ledger that wouldn't recognize.
Right.
when I put it through through the claim, put the address there, just say it doesn't recognize like it doesn't eligible claim, and that's a kind of like a worry. Just I don't know if it's been solved because well, I'll go back in a couple of weeks and have another look, because I know that all these kinks will be then worked on.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So, yeah, again, it's sort of there's not 7 blockchains out there, multiple hardware wallets, multiple hot wallets. There's so much technology being juggled here that it's a massive undertaking to make this work. Nothing's been attempted like this before, so you've got to give them a bit of rope. And they've put this message up now on their first page that they have got varying support amongst the different wallets. So this is probably the best source of information in terms of finding out which wallets are working on which networks, to what extent. It's just a case of coming back and checking this over the next 50 days to find out when your particular ingredient mix of crypto could do the claim.
Most of them are just simply through the Ledger Live. So that's kind of like it's frustrating because just like one thing can be if that one works, then everything else will work.
And again, so Cardano had issues for a good while running without any kind of Ledger integration, Ledger Live integration, and I finally got working through a Catalyst project. But there's I'll go into Cardano governance discussion if you let me, but it's not very interesting for most people. There's big moves to try and make as many compatible wallets, particularly with the Midnight blockchain. It's interoperating with all these other chains already. We need to get a better and stronger and more robust hardware wallet support throughout Cardano and Midnight. And I think this drive that Midnight's making will be the real incentive to get all this interoperability really flowing between chains. It's great between EVM chains. If you've got your MetaMask set up, you can switch between chains like we were seeing between Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. And what we want to get to the point really where all the wallets are able to connect across all the chains, with the same level of trust, security, scrutiny, privacy. But yeah, that's part of the move, that third leg of blockchain end game, where we've got interoperability really working everywhere. Probably the fourth leg actually, but yeah. So this is a good page to check for everyone. Come to the midnight.gd. The claim portal actually is on claim.midnight.gd. But the information page is where you can get started and read a bit of information and check on the latest improvements, is on just midnight.gd. Midnight as well has its own sort of corporate website, which you can read for more information on the blockchain itself, and as to if you're deciding whether to bother claiming or not. And this will really give you the broad strokes on the use case for the Midnight network and what its goal is. Talks about the Glacier Drop as well, obviously. And then all the things that are being developed. You can come and look at the tokenomics of the Night token as well, and its sister token, the Dust token. But all this is lots of learning, lots of reading you can do. Got white papers and regulation exposés and things like that. But yeah, they're a really good team, IOG, and they've built this with the idea that it will be used by institutions to bring blockchain to the masses, to the corporate masses. So yeah, Midnight's trying to do everything by the book, every T crossed, every I dotted, and it is, there's nothing else like it in the world. So there are some teething issues. Even no matter how small they are, there's still teething issues that will cause several of us pain, I'm sure, at various points. But yeah, I commend them for their work. It's good stuff.
What's the address of the page, Jonathan?
So this corporate page is midnight.network. So yeah, I'll drop all these into the chat here, and again, as always, I put all links into. We'll probably put them into the Fluid Discord and Lucas Discord as well, and IAW chat. There we go. Any more questions? Anything else to cover?
One question is that kind of like it's funny, kind of like it's nothing to do with the Glacier drop at midnight, but it's sometimes difficult to know why certain movements happen in crypto. Any idea what spurred the huge price increase in ADA yesterday?
Oh, yeah. I think if I knew that, I'd be a wealthier man. It's I think, to be honest, in my opinion, I think it's just that the back pressure of, like, Cardano is consistently the most undersold or oversold, whichever one, can remember which way around that is, blockchain. It's got the most potential of all the top 10 blockchains by far, in terms of its security, its scalability, and yet it's got the least price performance against its all-time high. So I think really it's an indicator of the pent up, we're ready for this to explode, and I think there was an indication of it yesterday.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I wonder if there was a particular catalyst, like if there were rumors of the ETF being approved or anything like that, because normally, there are people that kind of know these things before they're announced, and they act accordingly, because it's like a 20% move. It doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, no, I was looking for that smoking gun, but I couldn't find any significant bit of news that would trigger a rise like that. Bitcoin made another move above all-time high, and I think ADA just responded with, if you're an investor, you're sitting on the sidelines waiting to get in, you're looking for altcoin season to start, and I think Cardano is looking like the most trigger happy one. It's like it's ready to burst, which is very exciting.
Good to know. Good to know, actually.
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
and we did drop back down because there was the PPI figures came out. I think so the macro squeezed everything back down again. But just overnight, really, it's kept within very, very close to that recent high. So I think within the next, the next run, I think we'll probably get back to this previous recent all-time high, which is above $1, which is a nice ceiling to break through, I think.
Well, definitely, we already touched it, so it's the next time I think we'll approach the $1, we'll just burst right through. That's normally the way. So there might be some pause at that level, but then it will be like that's the thing, that how things happen in crypto, and like you might struggle a lot of time for a particular milestone, and then once that is done, then you kind of the floodgates open, and then we go from literally from 60, 70 cents, we pass $1, and then like in 50 cents increments.
Yeah. Which is staggering. And we've got 6 of those increments to get back to our previous all-time high in 2021. So there's a long way to go, but it's looking like it's going to happen in big jumps.
I mean, so in one day it went from 75 cents to $1, so that's that's a big, it's almost like 30%. 30% increase in one day. So this is how quickly the market can move. Because it's kind of like, it's in a way, put it into perspective, put it against, although Cardano is already kind of like a sizable project, multi-billion project, compared to stocks and shares, it's still tiny. And look at a company like one of the top 20 in the on the Nasdaq or S&P 500 is still like really, really tiny. So a bit of interest in this project will come like will cause explosions in price.
Yeah, and if we do break all-time highs at the end of the season, which is the typical behavior of this 4-year or seems to be stretched 5-6 year cycle, we could be hitting $4.50, $5 very shortly after we break that all-time high.
Yeah, so definitely, can you say just for you, or just to say how can you imagine what kind of price could reach? At the very least, kind of the lowest possible target for a serious project. That doesn't have any other reasons why the price is subdued. You apply the same percentage growth that Bitcoin has already achieved over this cycle from the previous all-time high, and apply to the previous all-time high for other tokens like Cardano. So Cardano $3 roughly, $3.10. Apply a what's the Bitcoin about 60% now over. So 100, 60% above the previous all-time high. So do 60% of $3 will take it to about just short of $5. So that should be like the minimum target for something like a serious project like Cardano doing this cycle.
Yeah, and you map that onto Cardano, it's getting some very exciting numbers for significant holders,
especially with the extra interest that will come from the midnight launch. So that's
yeah, because the correlation between Midnight and Cardano is that Midnight is using Cardano as its source of bootstrapping. So in terms of the infrastructure, all the Cardano node operators have the opportunity to become Midnight node operators. So Fluid Pool, my pool, is already minting blocks on the Midnight testnet as an operator. So I'm hoping that'll get me a good chance to be an operator when that goes live. But all the work that Cardano's done over the past 6 years has been is being leveraged to get Midnight to that the same level of scalability and security as Cardano right from launch. So we've got that tight correlation between Midnight and Cardano. It'll be the same operators who've been running the most robust chain for 4 years already. We'll just add this into as a feather in their cap. So we've got that same surety, the same trust. But Midnight's approach, instead of being an independent blockchain that's trying to create its own ecosystem, is actually, we're going to sit right in the middle. We're going to be talking to Bitcoin and Avalanche and Ripple and Binance. We're going to make all those players, all those huge players, we're going to give them features in terms of privacy and selective disclosure on identity. All these features that come with the Midnight blockchain are targeting every other blockchain. So it's not, it's not a closed camp. It's looking to be, it's nowhere, it's nowhere now today. It's not got a token yet, but we've got 37 million wallets able to claim that token. And so when suddenly you've got a token that's in your wallet that you've done no work to achieve other than being into crypto early, where's that? And that network is looking to add utility to your, all the other chains you're involved in. The potential in the Midnight token itself is very high. And it's going to take Cardano with it, is my opinion. And so that could significantly boost Cardano's performance in this cycle, as well as creating its own furore around Midnight and some of these features that we're lacking in all of crypto at the moment. So yeah, really very exciting.
All right. I think it's we come to the end of the session now. So hopefully you got enough to understand how to claim your tokens. And I mean, if you're not quite sure, you still got 50 days. So if you got any doubts, or you try to do it and you can't quite do it, then come back next week, either to this session or to the sessions that especially I will say to the session that Jonathan runs after the crypto hour. But again, just have you put the link to the session? Always do it without me asking you. Just do it anyway. Because mostly it's people that have been here a few times, but if you haven't and you're new on this crypto hour, Jonathan runs an hour on or whatever it's needed on Cardano at the end of this every week. So it is a really good idea to go and sit into this session to understand, if you're interested, how things work on a real blockchain, rather than just talking about tokens, but how things are done on a blockchain. And Jonathan is really good in demonstrating everything. So I wish you all a fantastic weekend. As I said, if you have questions, then you can message us. Most of you have got our contact details anyway. You can message us or bring the questions back to the next sessions. Jonathan, just for that kind of personal thing before I close, I sent you a message on Discord about the catch-up times. So if you could just answer that, at least I can organize myself for the rest of the day. Okay, guys. So have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you all next week. Same place, same time. Okay.
Thank
Enjoy
you
the
very
weekend.
much.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.